joining us. We'll be starting shortly. I love the intro. Gotta let it play.
Let her rip.
Let her rip. All right, we're live. We're going. We're hitting it. We're going live and direct.
We're here.
We made it together one more week.
We're here. Wide shot or no?
White. We want to see a white shot right here?
You guys want to see us?
You want to see us together?
You want to see us in our madness?
Should cover this up. This may be too PG.
You're a thigh guy.
I'm a thigh guy.
Are you a thigh guy?
That's how I got you. Is that I'm a thigh guy.
Your tree trunks.
My tree trunks are wild. Maybe that's our shower thought.
Shower thought.
A shower thought. Should we? Oh, I got this little thing I want to show everyone real quick. Look at that.
But it's not on the wide shot, so my name came up. Just mine. Oh.
Special. Ooh.
Wait, where was yours?
Mine is always there.
I didn't see it.
It's okay.
All right.
They know who we are. You know who I am. I know who you are.
You wouldn't be here.
You
would you?
I don't know.
They might.
Well, if you haven't joined us before, welcome to the Tiny Table, Tiny Chair.
It's never been called Tiny Table. You call it Tiny Table every week. It's Tiny Chair Podcast.
There's too many Tiny Table, Tiny Chairs. We should be Tiny Chair.
Also, we're the unscripted family, and our podcast is the Tiny Chair Podcast. Do we combine the names?
Because look at our setup. We have a tiny table. It's actually our children's table, and it wasn't on purpose, but it's what we got.
It wasn't on purpose, but it's what we got. I like that as our tagline for life.
Tagline for life.
It's what we got.
So our little quick. Let's just hit into that shower thought real quick. Today's shower thought: are short shorts okay for guys?
Oh no!
I think if you have thighs, show them off.
If you got thighs, let them fly. He's got thighs.
Pretty fly for a thigh guy. I think that's a good one. Pretty fly for a thigh guy.
Here's the thing, Jeremiah. You've been in multiple situations where people, both friends and strangers, have commented on how short your shorty shorts are, and in settings where maybe you could do with another inch or two on that inseam.
I think but I think it's not like distracting.
Yes, if people comment on it, that means that, because this is the thing, you're on stage at church. Just because it's summer doesn't mean you can show. If a lady went up there wearing shorts that short,
I think it's different for
church,
guys. Because I think if you're a guy,
it is different for guys, and that's wrong.
Maybe it's wrong. We could think about that, but I just think if you're a guy, like the muscles are like what's like. Oh, dude, that guy works out. He's fit, rather than like.
So you're saying it's okay to admire the person's body. That's what you're saying. Why is it different for females?
Because it's not proper.
You're
not a proper lady.
Put on your bonnet and don't show the ankles. No, you're gonna dig a hole, and I'm not gonna dig you out. It's inappropriate. Yes. I think shorty shorts.
Let's see if the inseam works.
Don't put yourself on the internet with those thighs.
Here we go. We're gonna.
They do not pass the fingertips. You shrugging your shoulders so that they pass your fingertips. My guy.
All I'm saying, if you have thighs, let them fly. It's American. It's freedom.
But except if you're a woman, right? That's the gist.
Maybe.
No, you need to dig yourself out of this hole. The internet's going to come for you. You need to speak.
If I look at a guy with some short shorts, I mean, he has some tree trunks on him, like, dude, that works. What is he doing to get those size of legs?
So if a woman has really muscular legs, she can wear shorty shorts?
Yeah, I think so.
But if she doesn't have really muscular legs, then she cannot.
That's a whole other conversation. I don't think we want to dive
You
into that
this
one.
is a this is a bad look on you. You need to
This is not a bad look
you
on
need
me.
to lie right now and switch around your viewpoint.
I think there's a certain point where you understand body awareness. Like just a plumber. Plumbers have big bellies sometimes.
You are being a stereotypical. You're stereotyping. You're painting broad strokes on.
Okay. Sorry. No. So sometimes big guys like to wear. They can see you. You can't. Yeah. All right. I'm just saying, some big guys don't need to wear the tight shirts. And same me too. You don't seem like, you tell me if it's too small. Like, hey, dude, that's too small. Like, don't wear that shirt. Or something like.
Yeah, if clothes are not fitting properly, that's not what we're talking about.
Okay.
We're talking about the length of your shorts, not whether they fit you properly.
I think the length of my shorts are completely fine. You guys vote. You tell me in the chat. If we have
They're
a chat.
too
We
short.
Can see you. The person that's watching, tell us right now. Shorty shorts, thumbs up or down for guys?
They're too short on you.
You guys saw the thighs. You be the judge.
You need longer shorts, and also you really need to work on the way you speak about women. It's risky. What you're saying is risky.
You think so?
Let's go into our next segment.
All right. The cultural.
What was that?
I don't know.
Something fell in the distance.
We have cats, so they.
Anyway.
Anywho.
This is off to a rough start.
That was not a rough start.
Okay.
I think that was a genuine reaction, and that anyone can have those feelings, and it's completely fine. But there's room to grow.
What are you referring to?
I don't know. So the cultural minute today, recent statistics I saw that 60% of Gen Zers, listen up, are going back to the mall. They're going back to the mall. Malls are the popular thing now. It's like back in the 80s, maybe early 90s, malls were the thing. Mall rats, they call them.
80s is when like the mall like first started out.
Yeah.
And then the people flocked. It was like the only place to like go hang out.
Yeah.
So the funny thing is, I grew up like hanging out at the mall. I loved that. I loved hanging out at the mall. I grew up doing that. And it's so funny to like, it's so funny. I actually don't think I was aware there was a dip. Were you aware there was a dip?
I was
Not aware there was a dip. I didn't know that people stopped going. But I guess it makes sense like with Amazon, right? Amazon and deliveries. And obviously as an adult, I don't go to the mall so much anymore. But I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, like I remember growing up and just watching like one, not that it's, I don't recommend telling you, Mallrats. You ever seen that movie?
No.
It's a classic. It's about like mall life. And I always thought that would be the cool thing, but I was never like the mall rat with my friends. My mom worked at a mall, and so that's how I got my in.
Mm-hmm.
Got to go to hot dog on a stick. Got to hide in the clothes, do hide and seek with my brother. We went to the mall of Redlands Mall. Shout out Redlands Mall, who's probably still barren today. It's been barren for like 10 years.
Barren.
But the Redlands Mall was out there, and then yeah.
I think that's interesting. That I think maybe that they're seeking that face-to-face time that they have lost through social media over the years, and they're coming back to it and using the malls to get back into it.
I wouldn't say that.
Oh.
I would say,
wah, wah.
Well, because I think the whole goal of it is actually to create more content, to be more aware, and to like, you're using something. Your home is boring after a while, guys. Let me tell you the truth. Like trying to be a creator in your home, and when you not live in a $5 million home, it's like, what do I do? Like more laundry shots.
Yeah.
But like when you go to the mall, like you got all the fun things.
There you go.
What?
That's funny. I don't know what else to say about the mall. Like, it's great. It's like, what was your favorite store at the mall? Hot Topic.
It was like, okay, this is the thing. I did not have as a kid, you're always interested in like adult things. And like, ooh, like,
oh no, where is this going?
Spencer's
Gifts. Everybody
Spencer's
loves.
Is like,
listen, everybody loves Spencer's Gifts. They had like all the funny magnets and the rude t-shirts and the like witty hats and like keychains and bumper stickers
Yeah,
of like.
it is very inappropriate. You know what's the one thing I loved at Spencer's though? The
What are you doing with your hands?
the electric ball. The electric ball that they had. They had
They had that in
bzzz,
Spencer's?
and you touch it and the fingertips would glow. And I had that one. That was really cool.
My favorite was Hot Topic, mostly because Hot Topic always had all the Harry Potter merch. They always had all the like, whenever the new movie was coming out, they always had the all the shirts and like the little keychains and the notebooks and stuff. And then obviously they had like all the bands that I like to listen to, all their merch and all their things. And then it just went downhill from there. I just started wearing like, those like silicone rubbery spiky earrings.
Nice. Classic.
The colorful spiky earrings.
Classic earrings.
And I bought like my wallet with the chain there. I wore my chain wallet.
You wore a chain wallet?
I wore a chain wallet.
Were you guys chain wallet kids? I was not a chain. Velcro.
But this is the thing. I was torn because I was like wanted to be an emo kid and I also wanted to be a skater kid. And some of there was some crossover there. But like if I was cooler, I think I would have probably shopped at like Vans.
Well, no, not even
PacSun.
cooler. It's more like if you were richer.
Yes.
Because like if you had
Hot Topic was more affordable.
You're getting the deals. What's it called? Vans is expensive, man. Even back then, it was always expensive.
Yeah.
I remember my mom would give us $100 to go in the mall.
Dang, what? You balling as a kid?
No, but that's all we had for school shopping.
Like for the fall?
For the whole year.
For the whole year.
Like, mom, shout out mom. She's like, each one of you guys get $100. And so my brother would get like a pair of shoes and a Vans t-shirt.
And that's $100 right there.
That was it. And then what I would do is to go to Old Navy or Big Dog and get like the clearance section.
Big Dog clearance section.
Dude, you'd be like, Husky, dude. This is like, what's that? And so it's funny. I would get like 3 shirts, a backpack, all that stuff. Because that's all you had. Like you had to get your shoes and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we just had $100.
Uh-huh.
And so
there you go.
I looked not like the hippest kid. Let me just tell you that.
But you know what? You were a frugal kid. People probably could tell.
Yeah. They would call me Big Dog for some reason.
Oh, remember the Big Dog?
Big Dog is now
Big Dog.
Vintage.
The outlets had Big Dog. We loved Big Dog.
You look it up, Big Dog. Shout out Big Dog. If you want to sponsor us, Big Dog.
This episode is already sponsored by Big Dog. They haven't been mentioned in a YouTube video in decades.
So let's bring it back. Let's bring Big Dog back. Make it a cultural trend. We're making it happen. If you think Big Dog should come back, you put a thumbs up.
Yeah, go Big Dog. I loved Vans. I loved PacSun. Was the other skater store-ish.
Yeah.
And then like as a lady, as I got older, high school. No, high school I would go to like Claire's, Charlotte Russe, Forever 21. I was like, I got all my clothes at Forever 21. All of them.
I tried to do that, but they never fit, and it showed.
Did they? They had men's clothes there?
They had men that were maybe small men. Small men.
They did. I outgrew Forever 21 by college. I did.
You outgrew.
I did. I was in the biggest.
From Forever 21 to Big Husky.
I was no, literally. They didn't have plus size clothing. I was the biggest size that they carried at the time, and then in college, I grew to the next size, and I was like, well, they don't have anything else.
They need like a Forever 2030. Forever 30. Do they have like a
Forever 22?
Maybe that's Macy's or like what's the next thing up from that? Charlotte Russe? I don't know.
Well, now they carry plus size. Yeah. Everybody does.
Everyone does.
Sorry,
America.
Excuse me for yawning.
No. That's why I got my coffee. Just little short coffee story about this. This is a original Pancake House coffee. It's delicious. We're breakfast people. And,
it's not coffee from there. The mug is from there.
Yes, it's still that Nestle.
If you guys
swamp
have
water.
If you guys have an original Pancake House near you, and this is not an IHOP, it's not an international house.
Original.
It's the original Pancake House. If you have one near you,
just gonna go right so they can see. They can see it right there. Beautiful, beautiful.
If you have one near you, you must go. They have delicious silver dollar pancakes, really good eggs Benedict. They have stuffed French toast, the Belgian waffle.
I know. Oh, the Belgian waffle. I know. It's like you go there for the pancakes, but they got waffles. And it's like waffles are bomb.
We're breakfast people.
Breakfast people, as you can tell.
Yeah. And with that,
that's the cultural minute.
That's our malls.
Malls. Tell us
right?
the mall you grew up going to around your town. What was the mall? That'd be
Why?
cool. Like, let's
Okay.
see where
Yeah.
people are at.
Tell us.
Tell
Tell
us.
us where you're at.
Mall of America. And now, as we move on to our
Tiny takeaway.
ding, 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 ding. That's probably really annoying. People, they just left us. They were like, we're leaving. We're getting out of this. We're getting out of this.
So that's because we probably talked about malls too long.
Mm.
It's fine. They'll come back. They always come back. So
We're also streaming to Instagram now.
what?
Yeah, so everyone on my Instagram is watching this right now.
You're joking.
No joking.
Oh.
So,
Hi.
So where we're going into today is kind of our topic for the overall cast. The pod is the title that I gave you,
Which is why it's basically why are we in youth ministry?
Yes.
How did we get here? Why it says ministry, why we do
what we do,
and why we love it.
Ministry, mishaps, and meaning.
Meaning.
I love the meaning part.
Meaning.
So if you don't know, now you will know, is that Alyssa and I have been serving in ministry at a church for, do you count Forest Home as a ministry? In ministry?
Forest Home's a parachurch, but it is ministry.
So I would say we've been in ministry for the past 15 years, at least 15 years. And so over that time.
Vocationally. Volunteering even longer, but.
Oh, for you, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So vocationally, I've been in ministry, and we just want to share a little bit about that. Like our journey into youth ministry that we are today. I've been a youth pastor for the last 3 years.
4.
Is it? Wow. 4.
4 years.
You've been going hard.
Because it was 2021.
Yeah.
So 4 years.
So how do you want to start this off? Like, how do you want to navigate? You're the great transitional.
Well, first of all, how do you even get going in youth ministry? Like, I feel like for me,
your love of youth ministry. When did it start?
Yeah, like I wanted to serve, and I was young, and I was like thinking, where can I serve where I'm young? I was a college student, and I was like, where are my gifts going to be used and appreciated? And I decided to go to my youth group my church and ask the youth pastor, can I help with the junior hires? Because I had a great relationship with my youth pastor, shout out Joe. And I wanted to work with him and serve under his leadership, because I was like, this is like an excellent mentor, which later on he became your mentor too, which is really cool when,
it's a whole crazy story how we're interconnected. But yeah, like going back to like my beginning of like youth ministry and getting involved with I appreciated the people that were pouring into me at that time and mentors in my life that were like, hey, like these are people that are outside of my family that were willing to come meet with a wild, wirely kid. Wiry?
Wirely. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, right?
Wiley?
Wiry?
Wiry
and wily.
Yeah, not wirely.
Yes.
That would be like, wires all over you.
Yes, I'll be wild. So all that to say is, and I never thought I would be like, I love serving with, like, it wasn't until I was like 18, 19 going to help out with junior high and hanging out with junior hires as like a 19, 20-year-old and pouring into them, not just hanging out with them, but like investing in their lives, getting to know them, hearing their hearts, and just saying how I could be that same person my youth pastor was to me for them. Because like another part of my testimony in this is that like I grew up not having a strong father figure in my life. Like at that time, like it wasn't like the most present walking alongside of me and just helping pour into me as consistent as it maybe should have been. They're doing their best, but having someone to outside of that circle to kind of come alongside me and pour into me was like super crucial in maturing me. And so saying that I wanted to be that same person, like, and I think that's similar to you. Like,
yeah, because it started out for me as like, what can I just like, where am I a shoe-in for being able to help? And like youth ministry always needs volunteers. And I was like, this is something I can do right now that I feel effective. I feel like I'm serving. And then like, and when I first started, I remember being like, I'm nervous because I hated junior high and I had a terrible time and I had no friends and I felt judged and I got mixed in with like the wrong kids at the time. So like I was nervous going into that of like, how am I going to like get them to like me? How am I going to get them? Like I had that kind of junior high feeling going into it. And then very quickly I was like, oh my gosh, like these church kids are so sweet. And they're just looking for, like at the time, again, like I was also a teenager at that time, like probably 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for me to want to hang out with them was a totally different dynamic and really cool for them to be like, oh, like this like college girl like wants to hang out with us, which is cool. And then from there it just like developed and grew into like I really actually really love this age. An age that I hated for myself at the time, and probably they're not having the happiest time either. Like being 11, 12, 13, it's so hard. And like
Mm-hmm.
I could go on and on about that age. Like,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the coolest thing about the junior high age is they're not too cool for school yet. Like,
they maybe want to be, and they would if
yes,
you would let them.
but they're down if you're silly and excited about life and you're willing to like get involved in the mix and be a full yourself, and then automatically, boom, they're kind of like, all right, I'm in. Like, and it's because life is exciting and there's joy to be had. And the second you start overthinking of like, as I know in high school, thinking what people think and all these things, it sucks the joy out of it. And you can't just have fun. And like that's my biggest thing. I was at the high school. And these high schoolers are not having fun. They want to sit in a corner and eat their sandwich and just like, no, I don't want to play games. It's like, so what? Like, play games. Why are you holding yourself back? And like, so
You're so preoccupied with how you look
yes,
that you're not thinking about what you want and what would be enjoyable, what would bring you joy.
and it took me like 30 years to overcome that, like to not care what people think. You know, it's taken me, well, maybe less than that, but just it's taken me time to like not care what others think. That's hard, and like I'm still like, there's times where I struggle with that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I feel the same way. I struggle with that too, and I feel like it's really cool to like try to just overcome that and live as that example. And like I have to remind myself kind of often working now that we work with both junior high and high school students, which before it was just junior high. And I mean, I worked with high school students before too, but like it's like I have to remind myself all the time, like it doesn't matter what they think of me, just be myself.
Yeah,
and like the same
exactly.
mantras you used to say in high school, like
Well, walking back onto a junior high campus for so long and going to like the clubs there, I get like all this like anxiety of like it matters like what their people they're
yeah. What am I going to wear today?
they're 11, 12 and 13-year-olds. Why should I give a rip of what they think? Like
Yes.
but like it's like maybe it's trauma that we
It
faced
must be.
in the school, the smell of the milk cartons and the trays and the burritos that were not as tasty as you wanted them
That
to
one
be.
toilet that never flushed right.
One toilet. And the floors were always wet, by the way,
Yes.
in junior high.
Gross.
Like, why were the floors always wet?
Mhm.
Can they just get someone on top of that? Like, come on. Like,
You know what?
oh.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I got to tell you something.
This is our son, Judah.
You need to go to bed. Listen, I know.
He's live and direct.
We are. Are you keeping it on you?
Oh, yeah, I can keep it on me.
Just look.
Look away.
I don't want you in the video, buddy, because I want you to go to bed.
So we are doing this in our home. And so we have children. We have opportunities where they'll pop in, say hi. Go. So.
Okay, so I was just going to say that the crazy thing about that age, the crazy thing about this age is that the age of the junior hires is like you're coming up, like 5th grade, you're a child, right? Like you're a little kid, you're in elementary school, but you're not yet like a fully fledged teenager with independence, about to learn to drive. It's this very in between. It's middle school. It's like a very middle of life,
very
adolescent.
Appropriate.
Yes, and it's so interesting because it's just navigating that season with those kids is so rich, because my approach is I like to talk to them like they're little adults, because I feel like not a lot of people in their life necessarily do that sometimes. Well, not like they're adults, but
the thing is that
I don't talk to them about adult things, but
Yeah.
I mean like talking to them like oh, like you can figure that out. You have full responsibility and the
Well,
ability to figure that
and
out.
people do set the bar low sometimes for junior high. They're just, I hear like a lot of times from not parents, but just people like, oh, they're just junior hires. They're wild. Because I serve in junior high ministry. Like, well, I can never do that. Like, those are kids are wild. They're like, they just have this label on them that they're unable or incapable of doing these hard things or incredible things. And I always like, you know what? You raise that bar, you set the bar high, and they'll meet it every time. Because when you start speaking to them like an adult or giving them responsibility and saying, hey, you know, you're in this transitional stage. I'm going to help you grow in that to be a functioning, I'm going to like hopefully speak wisdom, become a contributing member of society and partnering with your parents. But the reality is when you start doing that, the response is like it's a mutual respect almost.
They really are so much more capable than they get credit for a lot of times. So I think it's really important to like exactly what you said, which is, sorry, everyone. The children are out of bed. Will you please sit on the couch and I'll come right out? Don't come over here. Can't put the children in their jammies on the internet.
On the internet.
So, basically, by the way, our kids napped until 5 p.m. Like, it's no wonder they're awake right now. They are like not tired. They took a nice long late nap this afternoon.
So all that to say, so what do? We right now currently serve junior high and high school ministry at a local church, and we do that. That's what we do. We get to hang out with students. It's pretty incredible that.
Here's how we got to where we are. This is what I was going to say. That's how it started, and like finding that love of that age, like over the years of serving, like both of us volunteering and then getting hired and then doing different things. And I worked at the Boys and Girls Club, and then you also were doing like your youth with a mission, like that you got hired for. So like it's really cool all these different ways we've like continued to be involved. But there was a definite point, even in just volunteering, where I was like, oh man, like this might be a calling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is like where
it transitioned for me. Like,
yes,
it was like, oh, it's cool, but then it was cool to see how. I think the thing was we saw the fruit of our efforts. We saw like the impact that we were having, and that people were actually receiving, what like just the light and the truths that we're saying, and that people like we were able to. I don't know. I just feel like you and me were able to connect with students and make an impact, and we're able to see that.
Yeah.
And like, if we didn't see impact, if we saw that we were the awkward ones and like, hey, this is just not a good fit, that's one thing. But like wherever we served, we saw that we were the goofy ones, and that people followed that.
Yeah.
Because we just said, and that was the goal for us to be goofy, fun, but also like we have the truth of Jesus, and that's what drives us, and that's what allows us to not care what people think. That allows us to have these go through hard things and to speak upon hard things, because we had a well balanced. I think we're well balanced.
Yeah, and like it wasn't just like, yes, we loved hearing about how, you know, the impact that we saw, but we also would hear from the kids themselves often, and even more impactfully, their parents.
Yeah,
coming to us, like coming out of their way to talk about the changes at home that they've seen in their kids, and how their kids would, you know, call you and I out by name about being influenced and in a way that their parents had been praying for a long time. And then saying like, I've been praying my kid would have this growth or have this heart change or learn this. And then being like, they're doing that now. And they love going to youth group, and they didn't love youth group before. Yeah. And it's just such a cool, like,
it's like, who are we? Like, that's the coolest thing. Who are we? And just, and Alyssa and I are just very big on consistent. We're just showing up. We're showing up. And I think that was a huge, like, again, recognizing, like, it's not that we are special. It's not that anything that we do are just like, wow, no, it's like, it's crazy that they can use like two weirdos in high school, you know,
like I felt outcasted. I felt outcasted in junior high. And then to feel like I can be a person in this junior higher's life that makes them feel belonging and welcomed, and makes them feel like there's a place where somebody notices when they're not there, and they reach out and say, where have you been? I've missed you, and I want to see you at church. And like, I think there's something so special about that. And it's something that I wish I had. I wish I had a youth group.
Yeah. Do you have any funny stories about youth group?
Oh,
Any funny
man.
youth ministry?
Oh, my gosh.
I have like
so
one.
many. I have so many, but one of them I'm not going to tell.
Which one's that?
It's the one that happened recently.
Oh, yeah. You can't do anything recent. You got to do like past 3 or 4 years. Well, I have two memories. So we're going to do memory lane. Here's a memory lane of youth ministry. One is my first opportunity serving junior high. I went to junior high camp for the first time. And I went with my best friend, Jarrell. And we went and we were serving these junior highs. And if you know about junior high camp, you want to wrestle. You got to get the guys like the angst out. You got to like just say, hey, we got to throw down because there's just tensions everywhere. And best thing men can do, young boys can do, is wrestle and get it out. And so we would wrestle all the time. And one of the wrestling things is the junior hires sometimes like to puff up their chest like, hey, I could take you.
They totally do.
And
Yeah.
they forget that you're a grown man and that they cannot take you. And so one student thought they could take on Jarrell. And Jarrell...
Are you allowed to tell this story?
It's gross. Jarrell like literally grabbed this student and he got, because the kid was going hard, and Jarrell grabbed him and got him kind of like, not in a chokehold, I wouldn't say a chokehold, but like grabbed him and he's like, bite the doorknob, bite the doorknob, bite it, bite the doorknob, bite it. And the kid starts freaking out. And he was playing around, wasn't doing hard.
This is not a good story.
Oh my gosh.
And
it's funny because I talked to that student later. He's like, dude, I always remembered that. That was like the thing I remembered. Second youth ministry story that I went.
Make it a story that's like a good look on the adults,
second,
the leaders.
Oh, this is the second one. So I always like to take the youth boys out to do like a desert trip or go like a day trip. Like the Grand Canyon was one and Death Valley was one. So one time we were going to Grand Canyon, we load up on Friday. And then we leave straight after 3 o'clock after school. We pick up like the Costco, whatever. And so I packed everything in my house just real quick, my sleeping bag, all that. And we start driving out to the Grand Canyon. And little do we know, it snows. And so it started to snow. We pull over to the road to this gas station and say, hey, we're actually going to sleep in the van because we're not paying for a hotel. No one does that. This is a cheap trip, okay? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And all saying, when I opened up my bag, I realized that my sleeping bag, my cat peed all over it. So there's 5, 6 youth boys in there. And they're like, what's that smell?
No.
And it was just urination from the cat pee all over it. And it was freezing. And we didn't want to leave the car on the run. And the windows had to be up. And so I had to sleep in this cat pee of a sleeping bag. And everyone and it's fogging up, and people's nostrils are burning from the inside out from the cat pee.
What's that called? They have that thing in their pee. Pheromones?
Yeah. And let me tell you, the funny thing about youth
awful.
ministry, those are the memories that they keep with them. It's the most hilarious thing in the world.
Like, it's funny later, but that was the worst night's sleep. Sleeping in a van is hard enough.
But then in a sleeping bag, you have no control over the smell. It was freezing. It was snowing.
Awful. Oh my God.
You got any stories?
That's so funny. I mean, I feel like funny stories. I don't know. You reminded me of something that I was gonna say though, which is just that like, it's gonna probably leave my mind right now because I had it while you were telling your other story. It's just like cool to be like, it's crazy to be able to be like, this is my job.
No, I think about that all the time. Like,
this is my job that I get paid to do. This is my living.
I was very blessed.
I am putting on dance parties, and I'm going on camping trips, and I get to show up, pick up students from school, take them to lunch. Like, that's my actual job. And then encouraging them towards Christ the whole time. And like, they want that. It's like, it's really, it's insane. It's really cool. I love that. I love that that's our job. And like even mine, like I get to like partner with you. Like I'm not like on the payroll, but like we're a team, and it's so, I just 100%. Love that.
And I think,
I did have another question because I probably don't have like a funny memory that's off the top of my head.
You probably have one. You have a good memory.
But I do have a good memory, but it's like
maybe a top, not funny. What's up?
Yeah, I don't have funny stories. I have
a funny story. One single junior high funny
it's story? Not going to come into my mind. What I think of is like just those moments. The things that come into my mind that I remember are like the deepest moments and the deep conversations. That's how girls are. Like the deep conversation. Guys have deep conversations too, but But I think girls are willing to go deep and be serious a lot sooner than boys are. And so
Absolutely.
we get there and we get to the heart of issues really quickly. And I love that. And I love that just that age that they're willing to tell you what's going on in their lives, and you get to like pray over that with them or talk them through it, give them advice. Like,
Yeah.
those are the stories I remember. Those one-on-ones, or being in a small group and
Mhm.
talking. Like, I love that.
What question you had? You said you had a
Yeah,
question.
I did. So I was going to say because there's criticisms of youth group and youth ministry
Mhm.
within the church. So what do we stand for? And like, why do we believe that youth ministry is a necessary part of church, even though
Yeah.
it wasn't always a part of the ancient church?
Yeah, I think the people they rub against youth ministry a lot of times because it segregates them from the main body of church
And their
than their
families.
family. And so having someone else disciple your child and someone else pour into your child is very
Valuable.
value. No, what they would say, it's you should be the main source. The parents should be the main source of that.
Mhm.
And so having youth group, you're kind of taking that away from them and making parents lazy. What I would say is like having a third party that you're partnering with, and that's the key word, partner with,
That you trust.
just like a football coach, like you trust to pour into that person. That's the person can help them to take them to the next level, to help them. Not that you've been planting seeds as a parent, you've been growing them, but having someone else to come alongside and affirm what you're saying is huge.
Yeah.
And I believe that like youth ministry has gotten a bad rap over the years. Maybe not so much now, but I remember like they want to keep parents out of it. Like, this is my safe space. This is my, I come here to get away from my parents.
It's my me time.
And I see some value to that, but the reality is that we're only youth ministry leaders are only as effective at what's happening at home. Because if we're saying something, pouring, dripping knowledge and truth from a water onto a stone, if it's not being lived out for the 6 days of the week, then it's, it is what it is.
We're there as backup to the parents, as like to backup, meaning like we're here to
not
enforce,
back up, but like, to
enforce what they're already doing, and to be like, hey, there's more than one. It's not just your mommy telling you these things. Like, these are truths that other adults all live by, and like we want to encourage you in that.
And that may be different because we work with a lot of homeschool kids. Because versus like, not all parents are Christians. Not all parents are following the truths that we have. They send them to a safe place to hang out and have fun. So they may have different messages in that way.
It's both. It's like you're either backing up what the parents are saying and supporting it, or you're informing these kids of things that they've never heard before, and you're pouring that in. But we always want to bring in the families, and we've always done that, and that's like so important.
Yeah,
we've always wanted to bring in families, bring in parents, be a part of the church body, serve, like be as holistic as possible. It's not just we show up, we play games most of the time.
Yeah,
we do a little message.
It's just fun.
No, it's like we're there to serve. We're there to speak truth. We're there to pour in, disciple. We have leadership skills. We have all these different things we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so much value in that. And we're not taking the place of main service church necessarily, and we're not discouraging families from being together in the church.
I think that's where it comes in as a partnership. So that's why I would say like youth group is valuable as a partnership versus a separate thing.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch on that because I know some people are pro youth group and there's some people who are not.
And I think it's just like anything, like get to know the youth leaders. Come and sit in. I feel like parents should come and sit in on a youth group.
Yeah, we love when parents sit in
and to see like what is my child experiencing, and like they should know. Like you should know.
Right.
That's why I like with Judah, like I'm gonna serve with Judah. I'm gonna like be there as much as possible, be a chaperone, be along those things, because I want to know what goes on in my son's life. Like he is not until he's 18 years old. Like I'm gonna strive to know what's going on in my son's life, so that I can be there to encourage him, empower him.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
Yeah,
I like that tiny takeaway.
Have you ever had any mishaps?
Oh, I'm sure. For sure, mishaps.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any silly mishaps I had. Did I like make any kids cry before?
Oh,
Like on accident?
you
Like
probably have.
I probably have. I get too reckless and dangerous sometimes. I usually need someone to say, "Hey, that's unsafe," because I'm like, that's whatever. I'm very like, if you hurt, get hurt. It's whatever. You're fine.
You know what I'm thinking of is recently when you were performing in the preschool chapel and you played Goliath.
Oh yeah.
And you made all those preschool kids cry.
Yeah.
With your Goliath.
I did really
impression.
Amazing. I sold it. I went like full, I am Goliath, and these are like 3, 4 years old.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4-year-olds
started
crying,
weeping and crying and flee. They actually were fleeing like the Israelites. They were like, I was calling them out, but I got stoned and it worked out great. But they feared me for like months. So mishaps in ministry.
Oh my gosh.
So I think this is time.
I think it's time
for our Q&A.
Q&A day. Play that song, baby. Love that song. It's nostalgia, even though it's only like a year or so old.
No, it's like 2 years old.
2 years old.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that intro.
Well, this is our segment where we throw it back to the Q&A, question a day. If you have questions for us, please put it down in the chat.
Yeah, put your questions in the chat. I'm just curious of like, are you really live on Instagram?
I should be.
Because
I should be live.
I'm gonna check it out. So I have our Q.
Go to the Q.
You can give me your A.
Okay, this is the Q. What?
It would tell me if you were live.
I thought I was live.
So you're not live on Instagram, but that's all right. Oh. You can be live some other time. So here's the Q. You ready?
Ready.
What is one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't?
What is one thing I've always wanted to try but haven't?
That's good enunciation.
The Sally sold seashells by the seashore.
Oh, it's speaking properly. Is that your answer?
That is my answer.
I always wanted to
no,
try.
When do I want to try? Do you have an answer for this one? What I've always wanted to try.
I feel like the go-to answer would be something like skydiving.
I don't
or
want
like
skydiving.
Cliff jumping.
Nope.
Like I don't want to do any of that. That's nonsense.
That's death-defying, and I value my life too much to do that.
That's nonsense. Even like something that sort of pops in my mind is something like flying a plane, but that there's absolutely no reason. Never will I ever.
I kind of.
Let's talk about all the things we'll never do.
Exactly. Let's. Would you do snowboarding or skiing?
No, you know what I've always wanted to try and I haven't is like putting myself out there to do like a play,
like
or
stand up,
a musical, like putting myself out there to be as an adult. Like I did plays all through high school, but like I wanted, like I think it would. I just always was like in college. I auditioned for one musical. And I literally just auditioned because I was telling myself I'm so nervous to do that. And I told myself to audition, literally just to audition. And I never even went back to see if I was on any kind of extras list or anything. I literally never showed up. But I was like, I'm going to audition because I'm terrified to audition. And I did. And I sang a song from Hairspray, Good Morning Baltimore.
It's amazing. I forgot I got these sound effects.
That's really distracting. Wait, let that be the only sound effect. Give it no context.
No context.
One sound effect of this whole episode. And just leave it.
No, I like the other ones. I like having like, do it.
Let's not.
Just do it. Just do it. You just did it.
I did. My sweet boy, can you go to the couch because I don't want your face to be on the internet right now. Thank you. Oh. We'll tell you when we come out. Go sit on the couch.
There we go.
Apparently that sound effect is used on a children's program that I disapprove of.
You want to go into that? Why Coco Melon is from the devil?
No, I don't believe that. He said Baby Monkey Bon Bon, which is a questionable program. I'm not going to get into that.
A few moments later.
Wow.
I'm going to be slap happy now.
So you don't want me to answer the question is what you're saying?
No, you answered it. You literally answered it. No?
What was my answer?
You said you wanted to perform and put yourself out there, and you did do it. And so
yeah, I think if I could, I would try. I would try to go out for like the Moonlight or something like that, which is like really hard because those people are really talented and like work in the industry.
Yeah, if you were like doing like a knockoff, maybe. A knockoff.
What's knockoff?
Like knockoff.
What's knockoff?
Like knockoff Broadway.
It's not called knockoff Broadway.
Knockway, like.
Knockway?
Knockway.
Knockway.
Oh, huh.
Wow.
Wow, look at that.
Wow. Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made.
Is that what's showing right now?
No. Oh, yeah, that is what's showing right now.
Look at that. Look at that.
Boom. We're back. We're back.
Yikes.
Amateur hour. So, in saying that, what would I try if I never tried something before?
What's one thing you've always wanted to try? You've always wanted to try.
Always.
Since birth. But haven't.
I'm actually doing it. Like
You're afraid. You're afraid to even say.
No, I'm just like doing podcasting and like doing this. Like
this
was like a huge like
podcasting.
I've always wanted to try it. Like a radio, like a disc jockey, like a radio jockey. Like, thank you for joining us to KTLA.
Wow.
This is Jerry Dr. J with the tunes to heal all your musical needs.
Oh.
Settle in and settle out.
Oh my.
Now here's K-Dre. There is J. I see that.
This
I couldn't do it because
this is why
people were like, "What is he saying? Is this person having a seizure?"
Yeah, I mean, great. Well, you're achieving your dreams.
My dreams.
You're achieving your dreams.
You
know what else? Let me tell you what.
Yes.
I thought of one other thing that I would try, which would be, I just want to try it, and you're gonna laugh at me, okay?
Okay.
Backpacking.
Okay.
Like packing out
that
everything.
Is exactly me and you doing that together would be phenomenal.
Hiking and then setting up camp with just what we have and eating what's on us, like just like, you know, in our bags
for a whole week,
like a few days,
a week.
Like, but I'm saying like not like an overnight,
like sleeping outdoors, moving from camp to camp,
walking, like, and just backpacking. Like that would be really, really hard. I would be extremely challenged by that. And I've always wanted to try it.
It would be incredible.
And like we've talked about it in the past a couple times, but we've always had babies. And I don't see us backpacking
until at least
also with a
12,
baby.
10 or 12, and then we could do that. Be that wild family.
Yeah.
Backpacking, rugged. Make sure their feet blister and push them to be strong.
Yeah. The unscripted backpacking family.
That would be our next podcast. Okay. That's it.
Another thing I think is cool is like van living. Tiny
no, we're not
living.
being those. I've recently watched more about van life and how it's a myth and how, there's a lot of feelings against van life.
What's the feelings?
We'll talk about that next time.
Oh,
van life
on the afterthoughts.
Afterthoughts. I would go into like, is van life
the life?
The life, because I recently saw like basically how it's not what's chopped up to me because the parents are like, again, if you have 3 or 4 kids in a van, how is that like? Oh, it's all fun, but you're also like profiting off your misery of your children.
Oh, so, okay. Wait. Allegedly. Family channels is a whole other topic that we could touch on. Family channels is not what I'm talking about.
We're a family channel.
I'm talking about no cameras being in the van life. I know did you not see every time these kids came in? I'm like, get out of here. I don't want them on our podcast because we're not trying to have them online in that way. On the podcast.
Not live, at least. Home videos, absolutely.
I love our home videos, which some people would probably disagree and be like, that's the same thing. We're not trying to profit off our home videos. Those are just for us. But I'm definitely trying to make a profit on this. So no kids allowed.
Hey, out.
In 2 minutes, go out there and count to 120. You okay? Hit your head on the doorknob. I saw that. Go out there. Tell Judah to help you count to 120. Run away. Guys, this was an eventful episode. It started out with a lot of sexism and misogyny, and then quickly moved into the children being on the camera in their jammies.
We're an offensive channel.
This is like, people are going to have a lot to say. And don't forget
these thighs. Look at this.
Don't forget he showed the skin.
All right, let me do a wide shot. We should always end in the wide shot to let them see the glory of the thighs. About thigh, guys. Awkward. Okay. Here we go.
Awkward.
So just fill the time.
I mean, just all this effort just to show your thighs.
I know. I got like a cover.
A little too much. Those thighs are for me. My eyes only.
Whoa. Hey,
for my
eyes
only. Hey, and we're done. He's in his chonies. River, run away. He's literally in his chonies. You're going to cut it out, right?
Well, thank you for joining us for the marriage.
I don't want this on the internet.
Unscripted. It was 2 seconds. And like, they already seen tons of photos. Just everything on the bathing suits and stuff. Yeah, scrub it clean.
This has got to be scrubbed clean. I hope you enjoyed this episode if you watched live, because you'll never see it again.
I think there's a lot of good nuggets here.
All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye. We crushed it.